Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And this time I'm going to compare Charleston and New Orleans. Two amazing historic cities, so much to offer. However, they both have very different history in their own way, which makes it very unique, especially the differences of architecture and so much more. Two storied, atmospheric cities in the South, both rich in culture, unforgettable sights, and so much to do. But if you're trying to choose just one for your next adventure, here's my summary of when I visited both of these cities, and at the end I'll link both of my full videos of each city that go a lot more in depth when we were actually there and we talk about the things to do when you're there. Anyways, the first thing I'm going to compare is the overall city layout. Charleston is a planner's delight. The historic peninsula is compact, very walkable, has narrow cobblestone streets, tucked away courtyards, and harbor views around nearly every corner. Most of the city's major attractions include Rainbow Row, the Battery, King Street shopping, so many incredible historic homes, and so much more, all within a few square miles. It kind of feels more like a small European port town than a modern American city, to be honest. New Orleans, however, in contrast, is a patchwork of culturally distinct neighborhoods. It has the French Quarter at the historic core, but the nearby Garden District has its very own story to tell. Because the city was built in a crescent around the Mississippi River, the layout can feel more chaotic. However, most places within downtown, which people like to go to most often, are relatively easily walkable. I will say parking is significantly harder and a little bit more pricey, to be honest. The next thing I'm going to compare is the overall architecture of these cities, and both are amazing. Charleston is incredibly preserved, one of the most preserved cities in America. From pastel-painted Georgian and Federal-style homes to intricate wrought iron balconies and towering church steeples, the city kind of feels like a living museum, almost frozen in time from the Revolutionary War era. The entire historic district seems paused in time with careful restrictions ensuring authenticity. And one of my favorite streets to explore here in Charleston when it comes to the overall architecture is definitely Broad Street. Overall, a lot of colonial architecture here in Charleston. New Orleans, on the other hand, bursts with architectural creativity as well. French, Spanish, Creole, and Caribbean influences mix a very vibrant area, especially in the French Quarter. You'll also find Creole cottages with courtyards, double gallery homes in the Garden District, and colorful shotgun houses in Bywater. But one of my favorite architectural masterpieces here is the St. Louis Catholic Church. Both inside and outside is absolutely amazing. This cathedral is actually one of the oldest continuously used Catholic churches in America. So if you're like me and you love really nice architectural masterpieces, both of these cities are an incredible place to visit. The next thing I'm going to compare is the overall vibe and atmosphere of each place. Charleston feels more romantic, orderly, steeped in, and relatively more laid back. You'll see horse-drawn carriages, flickering gas lanterns, and Southern hospitality give the city a polished, almost cinematic charm. It's one of the cleanest large cities I've ever been to. It's great for slow strolls, waterfront dining, and quiet moments under mossy oaks. New Orleans, on the other hand, very different. Pulses with electricity. Music spills out of doorways. Every single corner is a new live band, basically a mini concert on almost every other block. Furthermore, many live performances all around the place. It's bold, loud, unfiltered, dancing in the streets, really surreal, to be honest. New Orleans isn't a place you just visit. It's something you experience, and trust me, it's a lot of fun. So overall, choose Charleston for a more calm, refined escape. New Orleans, on the other hand, if you want to party, have fun, and maybe a little bit of sensory overload. The next thing I'm going to compare is the overall cultural scene. Now, when it comes to Charleston, it's rooted in tradition and refinement. Many museums of the history of this place, some of them are historic buildings that date all the way back to the Revolutionary War. However, when it comes to the overall culture in New Orleans, a very different story, so much different than almost everywhere in America. It's basically live music everywhere, especially jazz and brass. And the food here is the cultural identity. Amazing gumbo, beignets. Every food is seasoned so well, I can't explain it. Everywhere we've been to, incredible food. They also have many festivals such as Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest. And some more culture embedded within New Orleans is the overall history with voodoo. Now, the fifth thing I'm going to compare is the overall water access of each place. Charleston has a gorgeous coast. You can spend the morning in town and the afternoon at the beach, Folly Beach, which is not too far away. Also, there's Sullivan's Island, but right next to downtown is the harbor, along with sidewalks where you can walk alongside. Furthermore, you can see Castle Pinckney from the harbor. This place is really cool to look at, a lot of history. But New Orleans, on the other hand, is surrounded by water. It's basically bounded by the Mississippi River. I will say, though, it's a lot less about the beach fun. There are really no beaches close by. But you can take a steamboat cruise on the Mississippi River, swamp tours. So when visiting these cities, if you also want to go to a beach, Charleston will be the better option for you. So when it comes to the overall landmarks to visit in these cities, Charleston and New Orleans both have many, but Charleston has one of the oldest, most majestic live oak trees in the South. It has the legendary angel oak tree. Over 400 years old, it's a must-see. When I was there, my wife and I saw the angel oak tree and it was amazing, and we highly recommend it. Furthermore, Charleston also has the St. Michael's Church, which is really cool to look at. We also covered Rainbow Row, Castle Pinckney, but it also has the Magnolia Plantation. This place is absolutely stunning. Along with that, Fort Moultrie. You can check this place out. Really cool. A lot of history here. Then there's the Hayward Washington House, and George Washington himself actually visited here. Then a few other really cool historic churches. And if you're going to go to the beach, you'll be able to see the Morse Lighthouse within the ocean. That is on Folly Beach. New Orleans, on the other hand, obviously the St. Louis Cathedral is stunning. Jackson Square is cool. Café du Monde, this place has incredible beignets. The French Open Air Market, this is also nice, very historic as well. Pirates Alley, Bourbon Street, which is, Bourbon Street. MS Rue, or Ra, however you pronounce it, this is one of the greatest antique stores I've ever seen in my life. And one of the oldest bars in America, Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop Bar, named after the famous pirate who helped us win the War of 1812. Me and my wife had so much fun in both of these cities. Charleston, we had, I would say, the most amount of fun by seeing all of the incredible architecture and neat history, a lot of it pertaining to the Revolutionary War. But when it came to New Orleans, we had a lot of fun just seeing all of the incredible street performers. Like I said, New Orleans is something you experience. And when it comes to some cool history between these cities, Charleston is foundational to early America, colonial ports, Revolutionary War battles, and the opening shots of the Civil War were here at Fort Sumter. It also has preserved plantations, historic homes, such a great place for history buffs. Now, New Orleans, on the other hand, is a little bit older in spirit. While Charleston had more English settlers, I believe New Orleans had more French and Creole settlers at the time, along with that Spanish as well. The overall history includes pirates, jazz, voodoo, basically a giant place that's constantly having a party with a lot of drinks, a lot of amazing food, a lot of street performers. I will say though, unfortunately, a pretty high amount of homeless. To be honest, me and my wife did see an experience. I recommend staying away from some of the side roads at night. Just try to stay with the people during the nighttime. So to sum it up, Charleston for elegant charm, walkability, beautiful beaches, historic homes, iconic oak trees, polished Southern culture, Revolutionary War history, a peaceful, refined vacation place, very family-friendly, deep-rooted in American history, and stunning architecture. New Orleans, on the other hand, if you want bold, energetic streets full of music and soul, festivals, parades, food that is incredible. Words cannot describe how incredible the food is. And a place where the culture isn't just seen, it's felt. Kind of hard to explain. So if you have a young family and you just want to go have a peaceful, relaxing time in a nice area, Charleston might be a better option. But if you want to go party, have fun, New Orleans, a great destination. But for an even further dive, see this video to the left, New Orleans, but see the video to the right of a further dive of Charleston right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a blessed day.